gonna be my turn. Head down, walk with.
Guys, welcome back to USS Stories. I'm Evan, that's Mike, and we're really glad to have you guys back. This is our fourth episode, and I think we're going to go over the differences between boomers and fast techs, and also standing watch underway. For us both, it was standing sticks. It would be driving the submarine, and I think it's going to be pretty exciting. And if you wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, and putting on those notifications, because we are trying to grow. And I think it's going to be a good channel to grow. Yep. So, Mike, how about you take it away?
Yeah, man. So I was on a fast tech type submarine, man. Considered one of the smallest out of the bunch. No, we were the ones that actually got out to go see and do some really cool shit, go to different little places. But the only thing that kind of sucked about being on the fast tech, man, was you had an unpredictable schedule, man. Like your schedule, you can be out for a month and for a couple weeks, out for a couple weeks and for a couple days. No, there was no real set schedule. It kind of sucked, for people with families because, like you said, you couldn't predict on what you wanted to do, man. You couldn't plan vacation or stuff like that, man. You was pretty much working on the schedule of the ship. We do 6-month deployments. We try to deploy every 15 months, depending on what scheduling they got for the boat. In between that time, that 15-month period, man, you pretty much doing inspections. You got time where you just go out and just work on drills. You got a various amount of stuff that you do. Fast attack, one thing that I know is different on the fast attack than it would be on a boomer, man, is that they're hot racking,
man. Yeah, a hot racking. Woo!
So y'all got lucky. Y'all got lucky without having to fucking do a hot rack, because I'm telling you, man, that's probably like one of the worst fucking experiences you could ever be in if you got some clean people when you bunk with. So, man, for hot racking, it's 3 people to 2 bunks. All right, so you got, depending on how you work the watch schedule, man. So, on the way, you got 3 rotations. You got section 1, 2, and 3. So normally, the most senior person, like mainly the most 2 senior people in the group, get to pick their racks, and you got 1 person that's the jumper.
Yeah.
At any time, man, who wants that rack? If you in the rack, hey man, jump your ass to the next rack. But the clean part about it should be clean at least. You get your own bedding and stuff. So once you switch over, you take the bedding off, put your bedding on, so you wouldn't be using somebody else's shit. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some nasty motherfuckers that still use other people's shit, but that's supposed to be like the standard practice, man. How was life on the boomer, bro, with the luxurious life?
Yeah, the luxurious life. That was definitely one of the defining factors of me wanting to go to boomers. I did not want to share my rack with any other fucking dude.
Right.
So I wanted my rack to be mine. So that was one of the main reasons I went boomer. The other reason was there's 2 different stations for tridents, which are what we call boomers, and there was either one in Washington or one in Georgia. Well, I grew up in Florida, so I was like, cool, I'll go to Georgia. I can drive down every now and again and visit home. Well, the luck of the Navy, I got sent to Washington, the other corner of the map. So I got stuck up there. But I think one of the main differences between a boomer and fast tech, obviously, is the hot racking. We don't have to do hot racking in boomers. And our submarine's a lot bigger also.
Hell yeah.
Because we have the missiles, we have the nuclear bombs on ours. So, yeah, we got like I'd say a little bit more luxurious when we're underway than fast techs. But then again, fast techs, from what I hear, they get to go to some pretty sweet ports and stuff like that. Boomers, we don't go to ports at all. So.
Yeah, like I think for us, for fast attacks, you got 2 coasts, man. You got the East Coast and the West Coast. The East Coast was like, they call it Mediterranean runs, Med runs. So you get to see like Europe and all that, sweet shit. And then on the West Coast, you got San Diego, Hawaii. I'm trying to think. I don't really remember if there was fast attacks in Washington at all.
Uh, there might have been at some other base. I know it wasn't in Bangor.
Yeah, I think Bangor and Georgia don't have fast attacks, but mainly like Guam.
I could be wrong, but I didn't see any there. So
Yeah, I don't remember because I know like it was like Guam, Virginia, Connecticut, San Diego, and Hawaii were like home of the fast attacks, man.
yeah.
And then like being me stationed in Hawaii, we did things called Westpacks. So we pretty much, for my experience on the Westpac, man, I've seen Asia in and out. Man, I don't been to Japan so many fucking times, bro. Guam so many goddamn times, and like I can count on fucking hands or toes how many I've seen just those fucking 2 ports alone.
Yeah.
Man, but Westpacks aren't too bad, man. Like deployments aren't bad. Like you said, 6 months and doing a whole like 6-month deployment. You pretty much doing the shit that you was working on and practicing for that whole like time period before you got on deployment. And life was like totally fucking easy, especially, we talked about the whole qualification shit. During that time, man, you already qualified, so you get to enjoy the luxuries of being like a qualified,
Right.
dolphin wearing dude. You can watch movies, you can fucking chill, you can actually have like your freedom to do shit. Yeah, man. So you said y'all had 2 crews, and y'all kind of like swap out. So what would be like a normal deployment for being on a Trident?
So for us boomers, there's 2 different crews. There's the gold crew and there's the blue crew. I was on the gold crew, and you switch out every 3 months or so. So you'll go out. Our deployments were, around 3 months. Sometimes a little bit longer, sometimes a little bit shorter. Just depends on the mission and stuff like that, and if anything else comes about.
Right.
And we'd pull back into port, and we'd have probably like a month, maybe a little bit longer than a month of refit, which refit means, you pull the submarine back in, you're doing a little bit of repairs here and there for things that needed to get repaired.
Right.
A-gangers are busy as hell when that happens. And for people that don't know A-gangers, they're our mechanics, basically.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you do about a month to a month and a half of refit, and then the other crew, which would be the blue crew, for me, would go out for 3 months, and then we'd be on the shore for 3 months, taking care of business. And people do stuff depending on their jobs. Us yeomen, you and I were yeomen. When we got back to port, that's actually our busy season. That's when we work the most.
Right.
A lot of these other guys and their rates, like A-gangers and STs and stuff, they do a lot of trainers and stuff like that under when they're on shore.
Yeah.
Just to keep proficient.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they kind of disappear from the work office. They'll be doing their own thing. I don't even know if they're training or not, but underway they had it the worst. We had it kind of good underway.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah,
we got much work to do.
we definitely had a good underway, man. Like I can't complain too much. I think the only thing that sucked about being underway as a yeoman was just I can't really think of nothing bad besides staying and watch, man. we had a cake on the way now in port. That kind of sucked. Dude. We was always ripping and running to PSD or to like squadron or somewhere where paperwork had to get trafficked or making sure fucking
stuff like that. Yeah.
Fucking deadlines and shit. Like I think that was probably the only thing that kind of sucked. Like being out to sea, you had certain deadlines coming up, so you had to make sure you scrambled and make sure everything was good. So when you do get back in port, everything was out smooth. But you had the time. I feel like you had more time on the way to get work done than you had in port.
Yeah. I gotta be honest. Being a yeoman underway on a deployment, it's not that hard. I'm not trying to take away from what we do and stuff like that, but compared to other, we have it easy compared to other rates when we're deployed. Now, So as far as other differences, I think we kind of got it with the boomer and trident mix, and then against the fast attack. I think we kind of hit all the solid points of the differences.
Right.
Now for us yeomen, usually when we start watch, which is like the thing we're going to do underway as like a secondary job. I know I was on the sticks all the time, which was driving the submarine. I'm pretty sure you were on driving the submarine quite a bit too. We call them helmsmen and sternplanesmen.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was fun times driving the submarine in hindsight.
Yeah.
Which one did you prefer? So actually, first let's describe what the difference is between a helmsman and the sternplanesman, because they're both two guys that drive the submarine at the same time, but they both have two different responsibilities. So why don't you hit up on that?
All right, and real quick, man, for some of you simple people out there, man, when we say drive the ship, we're not talking about we got windows and navigating to where the hell we going, man. We driving off a compass and pretty much latitude, longitude at this point. Or altitude, my bad. I say altitude. So for a helmsman, I was like the battle station's helmsman. So battle station was when shit goes wrong, you get your best drivers out there. For me, I was the helmsman. So I control course, left, right, and then I control the movements of up and down for so many degrees. For the smaller degrees, we had on our thing called bow planes, which was like on the front of the ship, and that controlled the up and down movement to get I want to say precise numbers, but to get the precise numbers. So I remember our conversation before. You was the battle stations planesman, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was the stern planesman, battle stations, which to be honest was another cake job. So stern planesman, so the helm, he steers the course left and right, and he also does the depth, which is up and down. Now the stern planesman, he controls what we call the bubble,
Yeah.
which is basically just the angle. So the helm is going up and down, but the stern planesman is doing the angle like this. So people will be like leaning forward and backwards and stuff like that. And which sounds a little weird. You would think one person can handle all that, but on a submarine, we had fairwater planes and stern planes, and you have to work in tandem. The two helmsmen and stern planes, we have to work in tandem to like get to a certain depth and level off and stuff like that. Because if one guy controls it, all the things like the stern planes, the fairwater planes, the course, and all that, he's going to have a hard time because he's some of the fins are larger than the other ones. So either the bubble is going to outgo the depth, and he's not going to be able to control. He's going to be going like this. So you need two people to compensate for that.
Right.
One is going to be fighting the bubble to stay level. The other one's going to be doing the depth. And it's a team effort. Once you master driving the submarine, you can do it in your sleep. To be honest, like you can literally not even look at your instruments, which we're driving off number. Like Mike said, there's no windows on the submarine. We're driving by numbers.
Yeah. And so like the doing it in your sleep, man. That's how I can fall asleep, fucking sitting or doing whatever I can now, man. Because when you're sitting there for 6 hours driving this ship, and then you get breaks in between there. You get bathroom breaks, whatever, coffee breaks if you need to, or if you just need to get up and fucking stretch and walk around. You get those breaks for the most part, man. Depending on who your dive was, and the dive was the guy that Evan brought up with the bubble. So they controlled pretty much the density of the ship, right? Or whatever you want to say about the ship. So they will move water in certain areas to where we keep an angle to make it somewhat perfect for the stern planesmen if they don't feel like doing nothing. And then there's some guys that make the stern planesman life a living hell because you're fighting to keep that damn balance in the ship. Yeah. And sometimes that dive don't help, man, because I had a dive before where we say ingest. So when he say ingest, I mean he's bringing in water to the ship to keep it, leveled. And he'll sit there just randomly, chief of the watch, ingest 10,000 forward. Like, what the hell, man? So now you sitting like this, and he's just that, and just that water, you know, now you kind of like going down. So now you got to fight to keep the boat at a fucking balance. And I'll tell you, like, you know, I liked him a little better than Sternplainsman just because if we at the right depth and we ain't got to move, all I got to do is just worry about steering left and right. I ain't got to worry about doing too much with my sticks and just switch. Now, don't get me wrong, at certain times it got boring as hell, like the Midwatch where you had nothing going on. And the Midwatch was like from midnight to like pretty much 5:30 breakfast time, and don't shit go on at the Midwatch, man. That was probably like the worst time, one of like the best and worst time to sit sticks. Cause the conversations you had on the Midwatch, I'm telling you, that should keep you up. It'll keep you up, man.
Yeah, the Midwatch, man. That's when the sea stories were told, which is kind of cool since we got this whole channel going with sea stories. But yeah, Midwatch is usually when the sea stories were told. You got the old chiefs, the old crusty guys, telling their stories from way back in the day and stuff. You know,
Yep.
guys eating up every single word they're saying and stuff like that.
Right, right.
But yeah, it's definitely a team effort up in the cone, driving the submarine, because you got your helm and stern planes, your two drivers. Then you have the diving officer of the watch that sits right behind them, and he's kind of like the overall guy in charge, just below the officer deck.
Yep.
And then you also have the chief of the watch, who has this enormous control panel. Like Mike said, he controls like flooding some water in, draining some water out. Um, he's watching all these other alarms and stuff. Like, it's a bunch of stuff. There's pictures on the internet of what the chief of the watch station looks like, and it's crazy looking. There's a lot of stuff. It's a little overwhelming if you don't know what you're looking for. And yeah, so driving, so you could get pretty spoiled driving the submarine too. If everything's cool, there's actually like an auto button. You can put the submarine in auto. Did you guys not have that?
No, we had no damn auto, man.
Oh man, so I guess we do live in luxury over there. So yeah, boomers, we have an auto switch on both the helm and stern planesman.
Get the fuck.
If you have it leveled in like whatever so many degrees or something like that, that's not moving, you can put it in auto, and the sub will actually start driving itself. Crazy stuff.
Oh man, that's that bullshit, bro. We ain't had no fucking auto. Oh damn, yeah, cause I remember y'all had that shit, the hovering. We used to make fun of y'all for that shit, man. But oh, fucking Boom over there probably hovering or some shit right now.
Yeah.
Fucking damn, that's fucking crazy. See, that's what I'm telling about the fucking. That's the big ass difference from Boomer right there. Y'all, so y'all live in luxury, man. Like that's.
Yeah, we were spoiled, that's for sure. I mean, but it we had better deployment schedules. I'll give you that,
Yeah.
and we had better racks. Well, I wouldn't say better racks, but we had better living conditions because no one had to share a rack.
Yeah.
And we had little gadgets like auto and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, anyone can really cross train from sub to sub. It's not really a huge difference. Like
Right.
if a guy from Fast Tech like you went to a Boomer, it really wouldn't take you long at all to get used to it. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, it's just a bigger submarine, and vice versa. I'm sure there's stuff that I would have to learn on a Fast Tech, me being a Boomer guy. But I mean, guys in the Navy do it all the time. They switch from submarine to submarine, submarine, and there's a bunch of different classes that they have to get used to.
Yeah. Even though that the submarine platform was, I mean, like you say, it was bigger. Motherfuckers had hovering. y'all had some different stuff than what we had as far as like the hot rack and everything like that. But the day-to-day operations underway were pretty much the same. So one thing that we didn't really talk about was like how a day in the life was being underway. So we get ready to go out. We have the mooring lines and everything towed. We go through this thing called maneuvering watch. So we're pretty much leaving out whatever channel or harbor that we're in. We get everything prepared to dive the ship. We shut the hatches, make sure everything is watertight, no leaks or anything like that. And then, well, when the chief of the watch, he mentioned that pretty much controls everything, gets on the 1MC, which is pretty much the announcement for the whole boat, dive. That means everybody should be in preparation, to go under at that point. Then one thing that's kind of trippy about submarines is we lose 6 hours out of our day. So we actually operate on 18-hour days instead of 24. And that brings back to we had to watch rotations or, rotations of 1, 2, and 3. We had 3 sections. One section will be on watch. So that means the odd of 30 to 40 people that's actually working to control the ship at that point in time for 6 hours. You got 6 hours of people that's supposed to be asleep, getting ready to come on watch. And then you got another 6 hours to where people that was on watch is off watch. Now they either cleaning or doing whatever duties that they have at that point to do. And then it's a constant rotation of a 3 hour, this is a constant rotation until you get back in the port. So you got 6 hours on watch, 6 hours off watch, and then 6 hours up watch, 6 hours off watch, and then 6 hours oncoming to watch.
Yeah.
And then and some days, you may have like the Midwatch where you're working from 12 to 6, and then you'll hop back on the same day at 6 p.m. to midnight because it's just how the rotation is. So you end up standing watch twice in one day every so often. So it's a big adjustment, man, when you coming back in port because you've missed that 6 hours. So if you've been out to sea, for 3 hours straight, or 3 months straight, and then just for you're used to 18 hours for 3 months. Then when you come back in the port, your fucking time is jacked up because now it's like, what the hell do I do with this extra 6 hours I just gained?
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because I haven't tried to explain that to a couple people when I got out about how we have 18-hour days underway, and they're like, that doesn't make sense. There's 24 hours. And they're like, yes, I know there's 24 hours a day, but when you're underwater in a submarine, there's 18-hour days. Like there's no other planet. And sunlight doesn't matter to us underway anyway, so it doesn't, how are you going to tell us that? But yeah, so you have 6 hours of watch, 6 hours of off going, which means you're 6 hours of right after you get off of watch. And it's technically the time where you're supposed to be working on your regular job. So like A-gamers, they would be, fixing stuff if it needed to be fixed or, doing basic maintenance stuff, stuff like that. For us yeomans, it would mean like doing the plan of the day or whatever, writing up evals or awards or something like that if we had any of that. Normally we wouldn't have stuff like that besides the plan of the day. Just, from earlier discussions, yeomans don't really do much underway.
No.
So we'd have 6 hours of off-going and then 6 hours of oncoming. On your oncoming time is normally the time you're supposed to be sleeping. So most people will be sleeping. Now, some of the worst times, though, is being an 18-hour day. We still have to do drills a few times a week. And depending on when you're taking your watch, right afterwards could be a drill, or when your oncoming time, when you're supposed to be sleeping, could be a drill. So a lot of times you might have to sleep on your off-going time, or you might not be able to sleep at all.
Right.
You'll be up for a couple of days. And that sucks.
Yeah.
And speaking of maneuvering watch, for me, I was the maneuvering watch. Well, for one of the years, I was maneuvering watch lookout, and then the other one I was maneuvering watch Mark 43 gunner. So there'd be like times where I'd be up in the sail for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and then I would get off, and then because of the timing or whatever, I would have to go now drive the submarine, and it gets exhausting.
Yeah, it definitely do, man. Because like I remember the worst underway I had for driving the ship. I think we was on this thing called TRE, like the Tactical Readiness Assessment, whatever.
Yeah, I remember
Not assessment, but whatever I forgot what the damn E stood for. Evaluation. Evaluation. That's what it was, man.
about 10 years ago. I don't remember that crap
Yeah.
anymore.
And that was like, so you got two different parts of the ship, man. You got the forward and the aft. And the forward is exactly what it is. It's the forward part of the ship. The aft is the ass, part of the ship. And the aft was like, well, the nuclear submariners were at. And then the forward were all like the tech rates. Pretty much the forward was the non-nuke rates. Just keep it simple, the non-nuke rates. So you can have anybody from yeoman, machinist mates, and stuff like that, But in the back part of the ship were all
the coners and the nukes. The coners and the
coners and the nukes. So TRE or TRE was like the inspection for the coners, and that went from everywhere from how to fight a fire, flooding, battle stations. And it just hit you, and it would be at random times where shit would happen. Like he was saying, maybe you can get off watch and do your little cleaning, but all right, it's time for me to go to sleep. As soon as you fucking lay your head down on the rack, bam, they fucking call a drill. And it'd be a fucking 2-hour like fucking fire drill. And then they got to go through the drill, debrief the drill, and then get ready for the fucking next drill. So you pretty much gonna stay up and just wait for the drills to come, eat lunch, dinner, whatever fucking coming up next, and then that's it. And then I remember they called battle stations, and battle stations is like, we gearing up, we practicing for wartime shit. And I was the battle stations him, and we was at battle stations for like 20 hours. And I had just got off a watch. I remember eating, I got off a watch, I ate breakfast, and then they called battle stations, and I was stuck in that seat up until I got off the watch at 6 in the morning. I stayed on that watch till about midnight that night. And I think the only time I got a break was when dinner rolled out. They take a break, go eat dinner, but you gotta stay in the seat because once you're in battle stations, there's no swapping out. There's nobody that can. They got some people that can maybe back you up, but they ain't gonna be on the seat for that long because when they come to battle stations, these are the people that they pick to be like, hey, when shit goes down, these are the motherfuckers that we're gonna have on the watch during that time. And that,
I think the only other time you would get up out of that seat is one, if you had to go to the bathroom, you get like a quick relief, take a piss, and then you come right back and that person would go do something else.
Yep.
And then 2, if battle stations did roll over chow, eventually you would get like a quick break to go eat some food and then come right back to battle stations.
Yep.
Yeah, battle stations can suck, man. If it rolls over a couple hours, man, it can be brutal. And like you said, sometimes it'll go for a whole day. You said 20 hours. I've seen them go about that long too. And it can be timed so horribly, dude, because you can, like you said, you can have your 6 hours of watch and you'll get off and they'll call away battle stations and you'll be stuck in your battle station. So you're back to driving again.
Yeah.
And let's say battle stations lasted 12 hours. Well, guess what? If it ended then, your watch is about to start again. So you're back on watch, which means you're still driving,
Yeah.
So if it's not timed right, man, it could be kind of hard. There's only so long you can stare at that. You're basically staring at a digital number, for hours and hours and hours. I mean, you're daydreaming, you're telling sea stories, you're drinking Red Bulls and coffee, trying to get yourself, and it's rough, man. Just staring at little red numbers for 6 hours, 12 hours, 18 hours. It'll stress your eyes out and your head out, man.
See, the good thing about being a yeoman out to sea was we weren't designated to like one watch station, so we could try to qualify as much as we can. So we had another yeoman that was with us. He was he did sticks, I think, for maybe 6 months. And then he went over to sonar, and that was his thing, man. He was with sonar till the end of his time on the boat. I tried my best to get the fuck off sticks, man. Like I was so tired of being on sticks, man. I qualified. I qualified sonar, but they kept me on sticks. I fucking qualified. At this time, they called land tech, which was you walk around with a clipboard and just make sure shit was in spec. That was it. And I tried to qualify that shit, kept me on sticks. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna be on sticks to the fucking day I leave this bitch. I remember, yeah, I was on sticks to the day I left. I did my last maneuvering watch, and then that was it. That was my last time on the way. And then I pieced the fuck out, man.
That's pretty much how it goes, man. Yeah, you can qualify sonar tech, or not sonar tech, but sonar. Yeah, I guess sonar tech was that the watch? What it was called?
I think it was like saws or some shit.
Yeah, some bullshit.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then land tech. I remember that as well. But usually they would just keep it on sticks. I mean, you could qualify it just to make it look good on your eval, but you'd pretty much be stuck. And you touched up on it was funny. You touched up on fire drill earlier, and I thought my job was so boring. Like I was a reflash watch, and which for someone that doesn't know, that might sound kind of cool, but you're literally just standing there with a broom handle, and when other people are done putting out the fire, you go up to it and poke it with a broom handle and see if there's no reflash, which means the fire comes back.
Right.
Um, even during drills, there's stuff to do. Like people are flaking out hoses and wearing EABs and stuff like that, like gas masks that hook up to oxygen. And, they'll be doing something, but you'll literally just be standing there with a broom handle, which was my fire drill position. And it's just looking back at it, it just seems so lame. Like, here I am putting out the fucking fire, stoking a fire with a broom handle. Like, this is my job. This is all the technology that we have in this military. This is what I'm doing,
Right.
So,
yeah, I had rapid responder. When you're not sitting stick sometimes, you're this fucking thing called a messenger. And the messenger does anything from you run and get coffee, you route messages, you're the fucking messenger. Like you route messages, you get coffee, you do wake ups, you do all this little menial shit. And then when they call for certain drills, you're a rapid responder. So the first thing you do is grab the closest fire extinguisher, whatever, depending on what the fire is, and you go fight it for 2 minutes, for less than 2 minutes until the actual supposed fire team comes up and takes the fire out. And then when I was off watch, my thing was making sure I got the suits, not the SCBAs. What were they? What are they called? The SCBAs?
The SCBAs were
The tanks, right?
Yeah, the tanks.
Yes, that's what. So we got SCBA. We got the SCBAs.
There was a suit we put on too. I forget what the suit was called. That was a while ago.
It was the FFEs, the FFEs or something like that.
I don't know. It was a long fucking time ago.
Every now and then shit be coming up to me, but for the most part, I remember just going to get the fucking tanks and set them out there for the damn because on our boat was a sonar techs were the ones that was in the suit that donned the suit to fucking fight the fires, whatever. But man, messenger was fucking ass. All right, so I know we talked about watch, whatever. Do you remember your first under instruction, which was the practicing of being so under instruction, you was pretty much practicing.
Yeah.
And you was getting qualified. And
that's back when I was a nub. I was usually messengers are nubs, and if they're not nubs, they're just gonna be a second or a third driver that's qualified. But a lot of the times for us, messengers were nubs.
Yep.
And so at this particular time, I was a nub, and I was the messenger, and I hadn't been qualified sticks yet. So you're supposed to go through the motions. You get the permission from the officer of the deck to take, the place of one of the guys driving, and then you get the dives permission, and then you're supposed to sit down, and the actual qualified guy is going to be hovering over you, making sure you're not going to crash, kill us all and stuff like that. And I remember the first time I sat down in that chair, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of nervous because before that, all we had ever done was a little hydraulic trainer in Connecticut, to experiment with the submarine. But now I'm some 18-year-old kid actually sitting down in the seat of, I don't know how pricey it is. It's like $5 billion or something. These submarines.
Like $1 billion shit. Yeah.
And I'm not even old enough to drink, and I'm driving it. You know,
Right.
you know, it can be a little nerve-wracking when you're not used to it. But after time, bro, it becomes nothing. Like you don't even think about it after a while, you know.
Right.
And there's always that little itch in the back of your mind that you might hit a fucking underwater mountain, you know, because
Fucking something.
that'll happen, you know. What was that submarine called? I think it was before I joined. It was like in '05. Was it the San Francisco?
Yeah.
I know.
San Francisco.
Was it the San Francisco? Yeah, it hit an underwater mountain, and it just fucking crushed the whole front of it. It was crazy looking.
Yeah.
But there's always that stuff in the corner of your mind, you know, running into something, you know.
Yep.
But otherwise, you know, it's a pretty cake position.
Yeah.